Okay. So are we okay now? Crispus?
Yes, sir.
So
Thank you. Yeah,
very
Denny
good. I also have my cup of
KBC
coffee here.
yes.
And by the way, we are giving a cup, a merchandise, for that person who will tell me. You tweet and tell us where you're watching us from and send a picture of Crispus or I. Okay, Crispus or I just post on our social media. Hashtag is Good Morning Kenya. And I have this beautiful cup and other merchandise that I'm giving away. Okay, I'm giving away. It's a beautiful cup written KBC, Kenya, your national broadcaster, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. All right, so let's continue the discussion. That's why we have it. Sawa. The question we have here is for the gentleman, this one. Let's talk about this. Question number one, how is it going to affect the stability of ODM as a party? Let's not talk about Azimio, but how is it going to affect the stability of ODM, either to strengthen it or to weakening the party?
One thing I want to believe, as much as Raila will be at the AU, his influence within the party will still remain.
Yes.
So he will still be the godfather of the ODM. So therefore, this party breaking is not something we should be worried about. What we may find is people probably feeling that they have been betrayed, their interests have not been taken care of within the new party structures, and they may leave and go to join other parties. But in terms of this party remaining united, I see it remaining united. I see ODM fronting a presidential candidate come 2027. That presidential candidate might be one of these two gentlemen, deputized by somebody who is not in that, who probably on the smaller framed pictures. I see young leaders like Babu Owino, yes, taking a more prominent position within the party. Simba Arati, such leaders Junet might take a prominent position within the party, and therefore the party will have a new face. We move away from being a Luo Nyanza party to a more vibrant in terms of the reach for the country, where we are both from the coast to the west, the party is covered. The challenges might be within Nairobi, where if we don't find Raila taking a prominent position, who then will lead the party within Nairobi? And that's why you find somebody like Babu Owino will come into play in terms of positioning the party within the city and giving it the strength and stability it requires to be a party that can check the government both at the city and at the coast and in the other western part of the country. So Oparanya is a good presidential candidate, but does he have the financial muscle to push a presidential campaign? That is the question. Joho, very young, very vibrant. He has the money. He has the connections. He has the support of the party leader. You remember, Joho has been one of the biggest supporters of ODM since, I think, 15 or 20 years ago. So therefore, we expect Joho to be a very prominent person within the ODM party in terms of financing, mobilizing resources, and also leading the party. So this party is a party we need to really be watch out for, because this is a party that will be in the next general election.
Yes.
It's not like Jubilee, TNA, URP that have all disappeared. We may not find UDA in 2027, but we will definitely find ODM.
Question is, we've seen Oparanya, former governor, sticking with Raila. He stuck with Raila all through, even after being the governor. They've been with Raila Odinga almost in every step during mobilization and now party nomination exercise and now recruitment. He's been with Raila Odinga. Joho, after 2022 election, somehow
took a break.
He took a break. And now all of a sudden he's now back. And he's now coming back with this. When you have these two gentlemen, and all of them are deputy party leaders of ODM, I mean, what do you see? In politics, they say there's nothing quite accidental.
Well, for Oparanya, it was very important for him to stick with the party leader all along. Because after being governor, what else was Oparanya going to do? Other than position himself to be the next party leader or the running mate for Raila when it comes to 2027. But Joho, kind of lost traction in understanding what do I do after being governor?
Yeah.
I mean, I have this coast support in the coastal region. I have all these resources. Then what do I do? But being a businessman, definitely he had to reorganize himself and understand what comes first. Is it business or is it politics? So I believe whatever he was doing during that break is to stabilize his base. Whether it's the political base or the financial base, he probably has done that. And now he's ready to pursue his political interests.
Yes.
Where those interests will take him, there is an opening right now with the AU probably confirming Raila as the chairman. There will be a gap. Whether Raila will like it or not, there will definitely be a gap. Whether he wants to say, I'm still around, I'll be having breakfast in Addis Ababa and lunch in Nairobi, there will definitely be a break. There will definitely be a gap. And that gap has to be filled by somebody. Somebody who wakes up in the morning and says, government, you have failed. Government, you've not done this. Who will be that voice? Who will be heard? Who will be the person Kenyans will listen to? I see myself listening to Joho because he's a person who very well we know can move masses, can move forces.
On our magic wall there, you have Joho, you have got Oparanya there.
Yes.
And then, you know, with his experience in public service, with his experience in ODM, he's chaired the party. He's stayed too loyal to the party and with Raila Odinga.
Yes.
They're very good friends, so to speak.
Yes.
And now you bring in Joho. And the two factions, you have Junet, again, after election, also disappeared.
Yes.
And is also back.
Yes.
We also know the Junet and Joho factor combined, where that might incline to, which vote they're trying to.
Yes.
And now you also bring this other side, supporting Oparanya. When you have these two factions distributed across the country, let's start with Sifuna. Sifuna represents Nairobi. Very vibrant.
Yes.
Oburu Oginga is also the other side of Nyanza.
Yes.
When you talk of Opiyo Wandayi, a position in parliament.
Yes.
Again, Nyanza, Busire also in Nyanza, Kisii, to be precise. Simbarati, also Kisii, to be precise. And then we have Elsie Mohanda from Western Kenya. Then we come to this side. We also have these two gentlemen all from Suba, we have from Migori, Babu from Nairobi, Ledama from Narok County representing the Ma community. We have Mazayo from the coastal region, and finally Fatuma also from the coastal region. But then now, look at the national face of ODM represented here. The question has been, who is going to take after Raila Odinga after his exit? I know you've asked that question a lot, and many people have been asking that question a lot.
Yeah.
Can you see that question being answered here?
I see this question being answered here in two ways. Number one, if you look at the side of Oparanya,
yes,
which has Edwin Sifuna, which has the minority leader, which has Oburu Oginga, which has Simba Arati.
Yes.
I'm looking at somebody who's trying to entrench the old ODM stronghold, which has been Western Kenya, Gusiland, and Luo Nyanza. But the question is, are these people going to cure, for example, the Luya unity that has always been elusive? Mudavadi, Boni Halwale, Wetangula, even them themselves, they have not been able to bring the Luyas together. So will Oparanya be the person who will bring that Luya unity?
Good question.
For Oginga Odinga, he represents Raila Amolo Odinga. Meaning when he speaks, it's Raila who speaks. So Luo Nyanza will have no reason to worry that their interests are not...
Raila wind still,
there is a Raila wind.
After his exit.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Simba Arati and Timothy Bosiri definitely will go to entrench the strong ODM ties within Gusiland.
Very good.
So means that the ODM as is today is protected. But Sifuna is supposed to be the person who brings or secures the Nairobi vote.
As a secgen of the party.
And the person in Nairobi is our point person in Nairobi. But is this the kind of person that we expect to move numbers within Nairobi?
Perhaps somebody would expect it to have Sifuna on the other side of Joho.
Exactly. You understand?
Yes.
But Sifuna and Bobi Owino are two competing forces. Sifuna wants the same position as Bobby Awino may want. So they cannot have a conversation. They cannot be seen to be working together. Now you go to the other side, you look at Junet. Probably he's looking at himself. I may not be safe in the Luyo Nyanza, but if I now start marshalling my northeastern roots, bringing them to ODM, I might find my relevance within the ODM structure. The Babu Wino, as we say, this is their man in Nairobi. This is the man who will make sure ODM will control the city. If you want to be president, it is good that you control the city. Yeah. Today's the biggest challenge UDA has is that they don't have the votes. They don't have the numbers in the city. Even you can see Sakaja has to be very careful in how he manages the county assembly because he does not have the numbers across the divide. When you look at Ladema, I mean, this is a very vibrant ODM leader who has been vocal, who has stood with the party extreme positions whenever they are required to. If you look at the guy in the senator of Kilifi, is also a very strong leader in the coastal region who is there to make sure that as much as Joho has taken a national position, the coastal region is secure for the ODM party. So those are the kind of leaders I'm looking at, going to make sure that northeastern, coastal region, and Nairobi is able to support ODM at any one time. Yeah. So they are looking at voting blocks. So Mombasa, I mean, coastal region, how many votes does it have? Nairobi, northeastern, as compared to the other side of Oparanya. So Oparanya has the numbers in terms of bringing the numbers. From the Western, from Kisii, and from Luo Nyanza. But Joho may not have the numbers, but he may have the resources. Who or what does Oparanya represent? Oparanya nationally represents, for me, it represents a progressive, not very hard bent leader. Yes. Who can be very good in terms of working with the administration of the day. Whether he's in opposition, he can work with the government very well. Whether he's in government, he can listen to the opposition very easily. But for the Joho side, these are people who take extreme positions. If we say we are not bending, we are not bending. So I see, if, for example, it's Kenya Kwanza that wins 2027, they can easily work with a Oparanya-led ODM as opposed to a Joho-led ODM. Let me ask another question. Do you see something when you have these two photos here? Where is that? There you go. What does this really, this picture bring? Do you see Uhuru Kenyatta here? Do you see William Ruto back then as a duo? Definitely. In terms of personality comparison? Well, you see, Uhuru Kenyatta... One was agile and another one was a bit... Yes, Uhuru Kenyatta may represent Oparanya and Joho may represent Ruto. That's what I want to say. That is what we can easily compare. Yes. This is probably TNA, URP. Yes. So ODM Western and ODM Coast is what we are looking at. So the one who is going to carry the elephant's head is this gentleman? Going by the kind of politics that we have become accustomed to, Joho might easily take it. But unless somebody will say Oparanya tosha, the way Michuki said, if you want to speak to the mountain, you must speak to Uhuru Kenyatta. Yes. If we have somebody who will say Oparanya tosha, and others follow, we may have a chance for Oparanya. The same thing happened in UDA. Yes. Didi Nyoro and Rigiji, around a month or so ago, they had some in-house issues to settle. Well, I think for Didi and Rigiji, the mountain needs to take stock of its performance. Yes. The mountain leadership has really not delivered the promise. If we are still discussing avocado an illicit brew now. If we are being facing challenges as Mount Kenya leaders in terms of doing what we promised our people, then we still don't have that authority to come and say, now I want to be the deputy president of 2032 or 2027. The mountain leadership has failed its people.
Okay. Crispus, give me a picture. 2027, how is it going to be? I mean, let's not be, we cannot talk about that. A day in politics, we understand, is a very long time. It's like a million years.
Yeah.
As it is, what can you see?
Well, I probably, if Joho would run for president, and we have a new office created of the Prime Minister under this NADCO arrangement, Oparanya would make a very good Prime Minister. And that would be a very good ticket for ODM. That was a ticket that can really challenge Kenya Kwanza as it is today. Because Oparanya, you see right now, Kenya Kwanza won with a margin of around 230,000 votes.
Yeah.
That is probably Bungoma vote only. So if Oparanya can just bring that back to ODM and Azimio.
I see what you're trying to say. That's a question that you don't answer. Even neither have I answered that question. An election cannot be an election, and nobody can go to the ballot without these two, without this body.
Yes.
We've had this back and forth for a very long time now. So Banisa constituency decry lack of representation amid IBC recruitment stalemate. We have that happening on that also being there on the magic wall. All this we are getting on the KBC app. The prolonged crisis at the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IBC, is taking a heavy toll on the country's democratic process. Of course, Banisa is really for
suffering.
A year now. Ever since last year, they've not had a member of parliament. As such, not only have the electorate in Banisa constituency gone without representation in the National Assembly for close to a year now, but the 12-year constitutional deadline to review boundaries and therein the probability of adding more constituencies is also just weeks away before end month. We have got a deadline. We have got Banisa. We have got other wards across the country. Just last week, Keroka and Kisii had their fair share of clashes because of the boundaries dispute. What are we seeing here? We also know NADCO report in the parliament for debate. President had that report last week, as well as Raila Odinga also received the report. So what do we see? Are we going to see some light at the end of the tunnel for this?
First of all, I think it's very unfortunate that up to this time, we still have not been able to establish a mechanism that where we have a seamless transition from one leadership of IEBC to another without this kind of gaps. We knew very well Chebukati and his team will leave at some point. When we saw the other four commissioners leave, definitely they should have told us that something is not, there will be a gap somewhere. It's quite unfortunate that this gap has really come at an expense to the people of Banisa and even Kenya at large, because when you don't have that IEBC commission in place to be able to prepare for the next general election, we fear that we'll have the same challenges we have always had of where the outcome of election is not always clear because the systematic failures that we have in terms of coming up with commissioners, having a secretariat that is working very well, having the resources mobilized on time to make sure that we have a fair and transparent general election. So to have this kind of gaps, for me as a citizen who wakes up to vote, it's quite unfortunate. But the issues of electoral boundaries, if we are going to be changing boundaries every 10 years or every 12 years, and we have seen how our populations are growing, I see a situation where we may end up with so many members of parliament every time we keep changing boundaries because of the way the constitution has defined what a constituency or a ward ought to be. So therefore, I think we need to have a conversation where the boundaries of a constituency may not necessarily be defined based on population or certain parameters, but we just accept that there are some constituencies which will be very large, yet will have one representative.
Yeah.
I know of a constituency, is it in India, where one MP has 3 million voters.
But
and in India, there are 500 MPs and there are 1 billion people. So we may need to...
huge. Those guys have an election for like a month or
yes, so we also need to realize, when we'll be a country of 100 million, are we going to have 1,000 MPs? Even the ones we have 349 today, when they never appear in parliament, only 50 appear.
Yeah.
Only if you look at your KBC live broadcast for parliament, the people who participate actively in parliament are less than 20%. So we get representation from 60 MPs as compared to 349 we elect.
What, in your perception, do you think the NADCO report is going to solve the IEBC crisis once and for all, perhaps, at this particular point?
We cannot cure our bad manners with new laws all the time. As a country, we just need to get discipline. We must accept every 5 years we must have an election. And that election process must be divorced from political parties. If we had this conversation last year, the biggest political party was Jubilee and NASA.
Yes.
Today that conversation is about Kenya Kwanza and Azimio. In 2027, 2028, probably will not have Kenya Kwanza, will not have Azimio. We'll have other political interests. So is the formation of IEBC a reserve of a few political parties of the day, or a reserve of the Kenyan people? So therefore we need to have a system where IEBC and the nomination of IEBC commissioners has nothing to do with political parties. It has to do with Kenyans and Kenyans themselves. So we need to make sure that there is a system in place that is divorced completely with political parties. Because right now the challenge we're having in the IEBC is because one part of the political divide has said, don't form the people who don't have the panel to elect, to nominate commissioners, because we don't feel like we are represented. But the day they'll become a minority, what will happen?
Yes.
So we need to find a system where it's not about coming up with new laws all the time that favor one political formation, but coming up with systems that are able to protect the interests of every Kenyan, however small or big they are. Yes.
I'm looking at a situation where when you listen to the kind of situation, sorry, let me come back here, the issue of IEBC, when you have Banisa and other constituencies not represented,
yes,
what legal implication does that really have to the people of these constituencies not represented? Banisa, a clear example, for close to a year.
Yes.
What will happen to them thereafter? Because we've had so many laws passed in Parliament. We've had so many representations. They have not been represented. Their voice is not beamed in Parliament for close to a year. So what will happen to them? Will they go back to the beginning and start demanding for their rights? CDF was here, bursaries were disbursed. I don't know if that really happened in Banisa. So what will happen? Can they go to court and demand for such services to be given to them even after an election? Or can Banisa, constitutionally, I know that's not there, but can Banisa say, because you did not have a representation for close to a year, during the first 5 years of this reign, this regime, so we need an extension of 1 more year after election of 2027 for us to be represented without any election? Can that happen?
For example, the NGCDF, it's not managed by the Member of Parliament.
Yes.
We have the NGCDF committee, which runs or manages the fund. The Member of Parliament is a patron, but also is required to provide oversight over it, so that to make sure that the people he represents are provided with the funding that is there is equitable share of that funding when it comes to distribution.
Yes.
In terms of what his constituency or her constituency gets, the CDF Act has a mechanism to make sure that every constituency gets his money. So the MP has nowhere he signs any check or approves any payment.
Yes.
Him is a patron and is supposed to provide oversight. The committee, if there was a committee in place at Banisa, it should be able to perform its duty. But now the only challenge, it may not have the oversight that is required.
Yes.
So that might be the challenge with NGCDF.
Yes.
When it comes to representation, definitely the people of Banisa are lacking representation. That one is very clear. But they have somebody called a women rep who represent the entire county. And I don't think that women rep is only confined to representing women issues. She should be able to stand in on behalf of the people of Banisa in parliament, because she's already in parliament.
Exactly.
She should be the voice that is, the gap that is there right now, she should fill it in and say the people of Banisa require the full. Nobody is stopping her from saying my people.
Yes.
Because she represents them. Whether she's a county women rep or she's a MP of Banisa, she represents the people of Banisa. She sits in the National Assembly. Yeah. So in terms of the represent in the national, they don't have a gap unless she has failed to understand her role. When you go to the issues of legislation, okay, that voice also can be filled by that person. In terms of public participation and the role the Member of Parliament does in terms of mobilizing public participation, we have so many other leaders. We are represented by 5, 6 leaders. It's only one who is missing. The people of Banisa have elected 6 people. It's only one who is missing. So they already have 5 more. The president, the senator, the governor, the ward rep. So we don't have shortage of leadership in this country.
Okay, let's take a break.
Thank you.
Again, I need to fill your cup.
Thank
you. Still have some tea there?
Yes, coffee.
Okay, I love the way you're putting, yes, coffee. Let's take a break. When you come back, I'm going to give you, I repeat, please take a screenshot of where you're watching us from, either from Crispus. Yours is not branded. I'm so unfair. I'm so unfair. Take a screenshot of Crispus, wherever you're watching us from, either my screenshot or Crispus screenshot, watching us where from, and talk to us. Tweet us on KBC, at KBC. This is our Twitter handle. That's X. You find us here. And already, there is somebody who's already, and I've picked somebody, but I need as many as possible. I have a merchandise for you. Crispus, let's take a break. So, we'll be right back. Stay with us.
毕竟信任，在那个年代，对我而言，是想都不敢想的奢侈品。
拿这个型号做什么？
最近掌握的核心多了，就有些不太理解的地方。咱们是国家重点保密项目，可是设备实在是太陈旧了。
可是你太单纯了。
我可以在这待一辈子的。可是你到现在，
ulienda then your IQ is not functioning.
Sitagi sina na sitagi.
Open your eyes. Buju buju.
Kizungu yake ni ya kuongea kwa mdomo. Haifiki kwa mfuko yake.
Na silisikiage kwambia atakupeleka Ndubai.
Labda nipeleke hapa Isili.
You look very smart.
Hapana, hii imesonewa hapo Katonzweni, hapo tu sokoni.
Hii ni yako.
Umenipatia tu.
Hiyo ufanya nayo ile kitu wewe unataka.
It is rumbling you.
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out.
Who is the man in this one?
And the laughter.
Hii wigi umevaa kichwani. Sio wakati tulikuwa tunaapishwa tukapewa mheshimiwa.
Move to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1.
Wow.
We are the full package.
Oh yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
That we are giving away our merchandise, and so far the tweets are coming, and I'm going to be reading some of the responses on our social media. But Crispus, there is some feedback here as far as our debate is concerned. Yeah, you can also catch us live. This is a live feed, and there's a gentleman who on our wall says that okay, that's what's happening here. Very quickly. Okay, I'll come back to that later on. Now, as far as that's concerned, somebody is saying that this is as far as the question we started with on the front page of the Daily Nation. That's where it was, the sexual abuse. And there is a response here from tweet. The problem is that we have given, that's from Kihoto, at Kihoto 13840. Hey, Kihoto. The problem is that we have given homosexuality a lot of publicity, a kind of marketing device. At over 60, I came to learn more of this vice in my 20s. And now he says, now children as young as 20 are being given information on the social menace. Your take on that?
I want to agree with him that the whole homosexuality issue has gained a lot of prominence. But unfortunately, it has not really come from our own making, but because of the access to social media platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and even now live streaming of movies, which are filled with a lot of LGBTQ content. Children are gaining access to this information at a very young age. And without proper guidance, they may think this is normal. This is the acceptable way of sexuality.
Yes.
So we need to have this conversation so that we also guide them and tell them this is acceptable in the Western world, but as Kenya, as Africa, this is not acceptable. And this is why it is not acceptable. We have to give reasons. We must also appreciate that the fact that we have divorced ourselves from our traditional values, our cultural values, has also given room for these Western values to get room into our way of life. We need to have an understanding with our children that our background is African, and therefore they are required to also understand where they come from. We need to have a conversation with them. Even the curriculum at school needs to entrench our African cultural values as a part of the teaching that our children get. We should have less of the Western world, but more of the African, so that our children can come to appreciate who they are and where they come from and where they ought to be.
Okay, again, from Kihoto. Kihoto says that all Joho has is money and, wow, no brains, required to maneuver the intrinsic parts of a political party. That is his opinion, though. He has all the money, but perhaps the knowledge and the know-how to run the inner details of a party, that's what's lacking. What do you make of that? Again, Kihoto responding.
But I want to just ask, which intellectual has ever led a political party in Kenya? Which really intellectual party, other than the Dr. William Ruto, who is the most learned politician so far? All the others have not been able to successfully run a political party with their degrees and their PhDs. Kenya has never been ready for an intellectual to be a party leader.
Yeah.
If intellectuals were to be party leaders and win elections, very many of them would have been, but none of them. Politics in Kenya is about noise, money, and violence.
What did you say?
Noise, money, and violence. Those are the...
but can we change that narrative, though?
It is very sad.
Then we go back to ideologies.
It is very sad. It's very sad because as recent as last year, we were fighting on the streets.
Yes.
What did we fight for? Cost of living and the audit of the IEBC servers. Okay? So we went to a national dialogue conversation, isn't it? Did all those two issues come out of the report? Despite people paying their lives, with their lives, for those two issues. What came out of those issues is what we rejected in BBI. Office of the Prime Minister, Office of the Opposition Leader, offices for human beings. Nothing to do with the cost of living or the audit of the election process.
Yes.
Okay? So violence was used, okay, to achieve a means, not what Kenyans thought they was achieving, but something else. So even our young people who today saw that violence, they know I can cause violence, not to get what I tell Kenyans they need to get, but what I want.
Yeah.
So violence will never, it will be very hard to divorce violence from our politics.
Okay. Again, we have gentleman here, mistaken identity. Chirchir. Mistaken identity says that Kenya is turning into a country that some of us wished, because our police and army being deployed at Haiti indicates that in terms of defense and security, our nation is good. This is relations to the Haiti story that we discussed earlier.
I would want to say that statement when we don't have guns being shot in North Rift. Yes, after the North Rift is quiet, then we can. Because if we cannot handle North Rift, then I just don't know how we will manage the gangs in Haiti. Because they are worse than, the gangs in Haiti are worse than even our bandits. Yes, our bandits are young, 12-year-old, 13-year-old, young boys under 20.
Yeah.
And they are not many. They are not, I don't think they are in their 1,000s or 2,000s. It's just that the land is very big and rugged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
but we have not been able to deal with them. How will we deal with urban warfare in a country we don't know, in a language we don't understand?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, just last week, over 4,000 inmates.
Yes.
They freed themselves and disappeared.
The man who came to visit here, he's not been able to go back to his country. The Americans are running away.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have a lot.
You have to give to mistaken identity that we have a good, I mean,
it can be celebrated.
Yeah.
But as long as we are not able to deal with our own banditry, somebody may question.
All right. Okay. I still repeat, keep tweeting. We have a merchandise for you. Already we have got 2-3 winners. Crispus. Crispus is going to read for us the winner today. And tweet us where you are watching us from. The key thing is take a screenshot of either me or Crispus, and you stand a chance of winning KBC, this Good Morning Kenya merchandise here. And we are going to announce the winner at the tail end of this live broadcast. But now let's come back home, talk about the issue of IEBC. The question is, so the case of boundaries delimitation is, we have got the constitutional deadline that has to be adhered to.
Yes.
Sometimes in a couple of weeks to come. So what's going to happen? We don't have IEBC structured ready. We don't have the house in order. And they must go through some rigorous training. The country and boundaries delimitation is also a process. So how are we going to go about this?
There's a proposal in some of the bills that are being pushed in Parliament from the NADCO report to amend that law that requires the boundaries to be reviewed between 10 and 20 and 12 years of the promulgation of the Constitution to read 12 and 17.
Yes.
That will now give us room to do these changes beyond 2027. So if that amendment goes through in Parliament, which I don't see any much opposition to it, the review of boundaries may not happen now, but will happen sometime between now and 2027. So there's still room for that change.
Any legal battle if that doesn't happen?
We have seen our public interest litigants being very vibrant. So I foresee a possibility somebody going to court and blocking it. But we need to understand, it is the business of Parliament to make laws. It is the business of the judiciary to interpret those laws. So as long as the Parliament makes good laws, whoever may want to object will have a serious challenge. The challenge has been, Parliament sometimes has been churning out laws which are not very good. And they are easily challenged. So we need to make sure that whatever comes of Parliament going forward is something that can withstand the test of any judicial process.
Yeah. So this is what you have. Again, you can take a look at what you have here. On this is in as far as the issue of IBC is concerned, the issue of Vanessa, the member of Parliament, that is member of Parliament then, Kulo Maalim Hassan died on March 29th last year. We are already in March.
1 year.
1 year down the line, at the Constitution 90 days within which they were to have a by-election is way lapsed. So the mistrust between the political divides saw the battle over IBC Constitution in and out of court with eventual preference for dialogue. I ask you whether this is going to cure the issue of IBC and even how it's going to pan out as we come to 2022. We still don't have the commission yet. And now, the court also ruled in a certain way, but the political class also say that, wait a minute, we have to do this on our own. So what takes precedence? The court or the political class to go the way? Because court said that, you know, we cannot have political horse trading when picking the an independent commission of an independent body.
You see, and that's what I was saying. We need to make sure that we have a law in place that completely divorces the process of forming an IBC commission
from
politics.
Yes.
With politicians and political parties.
But there's a very thin line between that commission and politicians.
Understand? Because the existence of political parties in Kenya has become so short. The oldest party today is KANU, but it has no influence whatsoever within the structures of politics today. It is followed by ODM. The other parties that have come and gone, TNA, URP, Jubilee, that have even formed governments, that heads of states have come out from, don't exist. So is it about political parties or the people? So we need to make sure there is a system that is secure to protect the interests of Kenyans, because Kenyans will always be there. But political parties will come and go. So we need to cure this process by making sure that the formation of an IBC, a complete IBC, commission and secretariat, is something divorced completely from political parties. Because if, for example, if ODM is because of Raila and Raila goes to AU and it loses the vibrance it has today, are we going to start now looking for another party to start discussing about NADCO? So we need to really divorce ourselves from this over-reliance on political parties to determine how we govern our politics in the country.
Absolutely. Crispus, I'm going to give you a break. But as we do that, I want to take a quick look at the traffic now that we're almost coming to 9 a.m. For those people who've been watching us and still waiting to see how the traffic is.
Nakuru.
Barabara iko wazi Nairobi na Kenya mzima. Before you leave your house going about your business, let me give you a quick tour of the traffic situation. You're doing a good job, Crispus. Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
You are fully rejuvenated.
Yes.
That hiatus was good for you. I see. You did more of that.
Yes.
Okay. So, kama bado uko nyumbani, this is what you're looking at the city. Is it's already, I mean, the outlook here, this is around Mbagathi as you join Daystar University, this around Chiromo, this is around City Mortuary thereabout. It's already not so good as you join that roundabout the Ngong Road and that stretch headed between Daystar University and DOD, the two roundabouts. It's a mess.
Really
but you'll have to give it to that patience because of the roundabout again. But after that, it's moving pretty fine ultimately, but not so far until you head towards Sarova Pan-Africa, as you head towards the CBD. Just right, not so far away from where we are. So this is where we are. The entire stretch past Sarova Pan-Africa, as you come to All Saints Cathedral, joining Kenyatta Avenue, is already a mess. Look at how it looks like right now in the CBD. Hey, Wakenya, you're serious, guys. I like this. I like this. When you see there's a lot of traffic, then it means people
money in the pocket.
Yeah, really?
Fuel.
I see what you mean there. But anyway, the entire stretch, people are busy. I mean, it's bumper to bumper, the entire stretch inside the CBD, Accra Road. Ukuchini, if you've never been to Accra Road, around that tea room, then you've never been to Nairobi. Yeah. You have never been to Nairobi. Yes. So coming all the way to that side of Thika Road, not so good.
Wow.
Muthaiga Square, look at it. Wow. It's coming all the way past Muthaiga Square as you come towards Pangani Shopping Center. Today, or to Kiambu Road, you are a bit lucky. The problem is on that side of Thika Road, which also extends at around Survey, thereabout. And then, yeah, it's moving.
And as I was mentioning, I was saying,
yes,
there has come to the realization that building roads is not always the cure. If you look at Thika Road, up to that survey section,
yes,
12 years ago, we were here with traffic.
But because
the Thika
majority of the population moved to that side.
Yes, because the Thika Road was still, had a challenge.
Yeah.
But now we are coming back there because everybody has moved to that. But still, as much as they are moving there, they still want to do business in the CBD.
Yes.
So we need to create satellite cities within Nairobi or outside Nairobi to help take a bit of this load that is coming to Nairobi CBD every morning. Yes.
Yeah. I'll give you, before we finish, I'll show you a picture of Thika Road way back before President Kibaki put machines on that road.
Wow.
Man, you'll not believe it. Yeah. Again, this is the Likoni Ferry Channel, Mamangina waterfront here, both sides of Likoni. It's already a mess as people, you know, they're waiting to cross the channel to go either both sides of the island. Again, into the CBD, looking pretty fine as you come out to Mombasa. It's already a mess as you come to the new Nyali Bridge here. And towards, actually this is now outside, towards Kongowea Market here. This is where we have Kengeleni. This place is called Lights. This is the only place we have got traffic lights in Mombasa around this place. That's why you call Lights. Yeah. The name coming from here. And the entire stretch of Kongowea Market, again, look at that. It's very, very much bumper to bumper. Let's be patient. Finally, as we come towards, not finally, I'll have to go somewhere else. Kisumu, looking pretty fine. And I have to say that there is no traffic in the lake. Yo lazima niseme Crispus. Hakuna traffic. Lake iko sawa. There's no traffic.
City is doing very well.
Yeah, look at that. It looks good.
Guys, we follow along the trends in the Kisumu city as Nakuru city.
Have you? I see what you are meant to do there. Have you ever gone to Dunga Beach?
Not yet. Not yet. I need to.
What are you doing with your beautiful life?
You know, we only know the beaches in Mombasa.
I mean, we have Dunga
Kisumu
Beach.
needs to market itself. I want to tell you, like for example, if you go to Entebbe or the shores of Lake Victoria in Uganda, they are very, very vibrant, as opposed to the vibrance that we expect in Kisumu and Homa Bay, which is not there. So I believe the Lake Victoria as a country, we have not taken fully advantage of it in terms of building the blue economy of tourism along the shores of Lake Victoria, the Kenyan side.
Yes.
But on the other side, if you go to Tanzania, if you go to Rwanda, Uganda, they have a really vibrant tourism sector, domestic especially, along the shores of the Lake Victoria.
Very well. Yeah. Again, hakuna traffic Nakuru. I have to be fair. Isikwe ati hakuna traffic Lake Nakuru. This is what you have. There's no traffic in Lake Nakuru. So Crispus, we are all safe.
Very safe.
In football, we say goal, goal.
Even the streets are clear.
Even the streets are clear. This is what we call GG in football. Crispus, let's take a look at what we have, the feedback. We talk to our people that they tell us where they're watching us from. And here we are. Let me see if I have a winner already. We have, if you tweeted and sent a message where you're watching us from, you're going to win a merchandise. This is Kihoto No. There's a gentleman here who tweeted. Let's go there. There's a gentleman who, yes, Robert Ouko. Robert Ouko there you have it. He posted, that is Robert Ouko, watching from Kisii, Mosocho.
Wow, wow.
All right, from Kisii, Mosocho. He's taken a screenshot of yours truly, watching from Kisii, Mosocho. That is, Ongeri, our director, says, huko ni kwetu. So we have Robert Ouko from Mosocho. Please talk to us on our inbox, in DM us your details, and we'll make sure that you get your merchandise. That is Robert Ouko, first winner. Thank you for watching. We have, let's see if you also have another one here. We have another gentleman. Do we have? Yes, another guy here. This is yours.
Wow.
A screenshot of Crispus explaining himself. Who? Ibra Muita. Ibra Muita. You didn't tell. Watching from Malaba border.
Malaba border. Wow.
Ibra, how are you going to get your merchandise? No, I'll make sure you get it.
You have to curate.
Yeah, Malaba border, all the way from Malaba border watching. He tweeted at 8 to 8 a.m.
Wow.
So Ibra Muita and yes. Do you have another one here? Thank you for watching. No, that is Marie and yours truly. And let's see, do we have any other person here again? Yes, another winner here. This is Jeff. Jeff says that great show, watching from Kiambu. Our neighbors.
Just nearby.
So we have got 3 guys. So we have got 3 winners. Jeff, we just come to KBC and pick your merchandise. Come to KBC tomorrow, any time of the day. Just DM us your contacts and we'll make sure that you get your merchandise. So on this, I have got 2 screenshots. You have 1.
You're doing very well.
But thank you so much for watching. Gentlemen, thank you much for watching. That is where we wrap it up on Good Morning Kenya. Asante sana. My name is Victor Lo. Thank you, Crispus Wathimba, for being part of the show. And even you, the gentleman who tweeted, Asante sana, please talk to us on our social media handles, DM your contacts, and we will make sure that you get your merchandise. All right? Thank you so much for watching. I'm Victor Lo. GMK takes a break. We'll be right back with more.